I want to talk to you about the fourth part in the series of the Pigpen Effect. And as you know, we've been talking about this Charlie Brown character and what goes on in his life. And he has that little cloud that always follows him. And people know it's because he hasn't washed or cleansed or whatever. He's a little bit dirty. He's a little dirty guy. But, the fact is he's carrying things around with him in life. I want to talk to you in the final part of this series, and you can go online and see them all on the Facebook and on YouTube. Just type in Mission ChurchNE and you'll find them on YouTube. Tonight, continuing to understand what, baggage does in your life and what things that you have in your life that hinders you and it hinders progress in your life. And I know that you can all identify with that. Is your life constantly putting you on hold? This is the challenge. And we can't let it put us on hold. It's so important, right, Wendy? It's good to see you. The letting go part. Now, this is what I want to talk to you in our final part of this series. Letting go. The letting go part is probably the greatest challenging part in this situation. Regrets. I want to chat with you about regrets because I think that's probably in my mind the greatest baggage of all, because if you haven't done things right, if you're not doing things appropriately, if you're not moving in the right direction, if you're saying and doing and acting and becoming in ways that are unbecoming and hurting people and hurting lives and making decisions that are just not prospering you in every way, shape, and form, we end up with regrets. There's no doubt about it. Many of you have had many regrets in life. I am talking from a position of knowledge here when it comes to regrets. Hi, Gina Marie. He who gathers in the summer, the scripture says in Proverbs 10:5, he who gathers in the summer is a prudent son. That means if you are working hard in summertime to harvest the crops, to harvest everything, to get everything in before bad weather comes, it says you are a prudent person. But he who sleeps during harvest, who's lazy, who doesn't harvest, who doesn't get the crop in on time, is a son who brings shame. So basically, what it's saying is if you're not going to do the right thing at the right time and in due season, you're going to wake up at some point and you're going to regret not doing what you should have done, how you should have done it, or taking into account the consequences of what your decisions are making and what situations you're in. Please tell me you understand what I'm saying. Say yes, say hi, whatever the case may be, but tell me you know what I'm talking about. It could be simple regrets as saying some words to some people that you dearly love in life that you probably shouldn't have said, and you've lived to this day and time with regrets of having said those words. It could have been harsh words. It could have been powerfully wrong words, but nonetheless you said them. You could have taken some actions that you wish you'd never have taken, and you have such regret about it. And I'm being very candid with you. I do have some deep, and I'm being honest with you, and I hope you'll respect my honesty. And this is one of the things I'm talking about as I come back to this pulpit, about a real God and a real day to real people about real life. I do have a certain amount of regrets as to how I moved on from my ministry with whether it be Liberty or the Dream Center and things such as that. I look back on it and I think about a lot of things that transpired there, and I do carry a tremendous amount of weight, and it's been 5+ years, and I know I should be pushing past those things and whatnot, and it's not like I hold myself responsible. I'm telling you, I know that I was following the voice of the Lord, and I was doing what I believed in my heart to be the right and righteous thing to do. But I look back and I think about a lot of the decisions I made, how it was made, the way it went. And, and honestly, if we're going to talk very honest, some of the decisions I made were pushed aside by other men and other people, which created a greater, more powerful loss than had to be done. I'm not bringing up anything that I want challenged or whatnot. I'm just telling you in my personal life, in my own personal heart, spirit, and life, that I live with some heavy weight of that, and I live with some heaviness over that. Even though I look back and I think about the tremendous work of God, and I wonder where God has taken me these last 5 years, how it's going to affect your life and the other lives around you and in my life if I can use a certain amount of, let's say, that regret or pain to help you focus in and realize that I truly believe that the Lord has never forsaken me, and He has never let go, and He has always walked in front, behind, and at all sides of me. In every situation, at all times, whether I've been up or down, in or out, and feeling blessed or feeling broken, whatever the case may be, I can honestly say, my faith has gone nowhere. My faith has always been strong, but my flesh and my emotion and my heartstrings and stuff, they've been tethered and torn. They have suffered a great degree of hurt and pain and trouble and struggle and issue, and all based on the fact of feeling like I truly listened to the voice of the Lord and moved on from a time and a place that I needed to move on in that time and place. I'll reveal more as time goes on about certain things and circumstances, but I still have to deal with some of that, which is why I want to talk to you tonight about this. Letting go is not easy, and I don't mean of things that don't belong to you any longer. I'm talking about the feelings inside and the struggle and the pains that you face and whatnot. And you see, let's talk about regrets and how do you get there and let's imagine, if you will, you're at a gathering, and you're at a gathering of yourself, and at this gathering is your child self, is your teenage self, is your preteen, teen, later teen self, is your young adult, early 20s self, to your late 20s self, to your, emerging adulthood self, and then middle-aged self, and older self, or whatever the case may be. Right to your present day self, whatever age that you might be at. You see, the thing is getting over regrets. They can't be ignored. Because if you try to ignore them, if you try to push them aside, they sit around like haunting things in the corners of your life. And they always shout and scream at some point. Do you know why? Because we are people who recognize through actions, thoughts, smell, taste, all of these things, when we've experienced them in life, take us back to those times in life. When I go home to northern Maine, it's so quiet, the air is so fresh, and when I get stung by a hornet or a black fly or a mosquito, I reflect right back to my childhood and the times that I knew that, living there. And so does regrets in life. They hang in the corners of your life. And when something in someone else's life or circumstance of life comes around, they begin to shout from the corner. They begin to shout into your life, and all of a sudden it can wreck your day, can wreck your night, can wreck your week, can wreck your month, can really bring down your joy and bring down the situation in your life. And I'm telling you, it's a great challenge, but you can't ignore it. The only one that you can, but see, not only can you not ignore it, I want you to hear this very closely. The only one that you can really have a conversation about the regrets in your life with is yourself. You see, when you hold regrets in life and they visit your life, that means you've traveled and journeyed a road that only you have traveled and journeyed in your heart, spirit, mind, flesh, whatever the case may be. Only you know the depth of the regret, and only you know the depth of how it's affected. Now, it's affected other people, but it will never affect you as much as yourself. And only you can talk to yourself about what was going on at that time and what was happening in your life at that time. And why did you make the decision you made? And what brought on the reasons for you going through what you went through and acting the way you did? What brought all of these activities on? And you have to consult with yourself, and you have to speak to yourself in terms of counseling. And this is sort of what I've been doing myself. Why make that decision? Why act that way? Or why do those things? And why be such a way? Hear this. Most people will sympathize and say, look, you just need to move on. It was the past. It's over. It's gone, right? Well, I wish letting go was really that simple, and I think you do too. I think you wish it was that simple. There is nothing quite like, and let me put it there to you, there is nothing quite like the gripping power of regret. I mean, it's probably a powerful grip more than most baggage in life. Because you can have some baggage in life that just sort of weighs you down and lingers around and whatnot. And sometimes you're better at it than others. Sometimes you get over it than others. But regrets are like this stronghold, this power hold. And when it grabs and grips, it's a deep, deep, powerful grip. I'm sorry to say, it's not easy letting go. Maybe you were a little too absent in life.Maybe you were the absent father, the absent mother. Maybe you're living with a lot of regrets, a lot is going on. I spoke to you a little bit a couple weeks ago about the suicide of my own nephew, young 30s, 33, I believe he was. And even up home today, this past few days with my mom, she will express certain regrets that she has in how she felt like she probably should have reached out to him a little more or done a little more in these things. And it does me no good to say you did the best you could, you did everything you could do. All I can do is listen, because she feels it strongly and she feels it deeply. And they are the regrets that she has to deal with and talk to herself about and go to prayer about and go to God about, just like you and just like me. And anybody that says to you, just move past it, let it go, move on, it was the past, I'm telling you, they need to get a true lesson on 101 on regrets. And I think if they were to research back in their own heart and life, they have regrets, and they have those times too. And they wouldn't want anybody just telling them, get over it. These things are not easy, and they're not, and people say, well, if you have better faith, you have greater faith, and you trust God, there's nothing. I absolutely trust God for all those things. I absolutely believe God in all these things. I don't let these regrets get in my way. I'm moving up. I'm still moving forward, because, see, baggage in life is what hinders your progress. My progress hasn't stopped, but I'm carrying some pretty heavy baggage and in the regret field. And letting go, I'm just trying to let you know tonight and be very open and honest. Letting go is not the easiest thing. It's not an easy thing. Maybe you were a little too selfish in life. Maybe you're a horrible communicator. I don't know. Maybe your love comes with impossible conditions. Maybe that's part of it, right? Maybe you're just too impossible. Maybe others were just too impossible. I don't expect to know, but I do know that life with regrets is a very challenging thing. The way you move on isn't by rationalizing all of these uncomfortable feelings away. They're uncomfortable. It's not easy to confront. And, and the sad thing is nobody else knows the depth of your regret. And so they couldn't even come close to trying to help you necessarily resolve. But we often need a friend, a parent, or someone who will just listen and who will just hear, because sometimes just putting it out there helps us heal and recover and move forward through regret. I'm very serious about that. By blaming yourself or the world for your misfortune, you can't move on that way. The reality is your regrets are your own fault. It's your own issue. It's your own struggle. It's your own doing. So rationalizing it is not going to get you anywhere. See, let me say this. It's by accepting your mistakes, you got it? By understanding what happened and integrating that experience into your understanding of who you are today. We are the sum of all the good and bad in our life, which make us up to where we are right now. This forces you to take responsibility, forces me to take responsibility for whatever mess we created that has brought this regret. And if you truly take responsibility for any mess that you've created, then you won't repeat them. That is what regret is for. Regret is for you to be able to confront it, to be able to understand it, and to be in great desire to not repeat such a thing. Much easier said than done, right? I know I've opened up a big thing here. But I wanted to talk to you about regret because I believe you can get past it. And I am working to get past mine. And the reality is it's a daily struggle. It's a constant process. It's a constant moving forward and not allowing regret to hold me back and not pushing it aside when it shouts from the corner of my life, because it's often there to remind me, if it's shouting, that I am reaching a very critical point in life that I need to make the right decisions. I need to do the right thing, or else that regret is going to repeat itself. Isaiah 43 said this, and I'll leave it with you tonight. Forget the former things. Do not dwell in the past. This is what Isaiah was saying. Jesus has come and is doing a new thing, and it's springing up. Don't you see it? Because I see it. I am making a way in wilderness, in regrets. I am making a way in streams, in good times. I am making a way in wastelands, hard times, regrets, good, bad, ugly, up, down, all around. God is doing a new thing in you. Let him do it. And I believe you can. Well, listen, just another great Bible study tonight, a great crowd joining me here again. And I just love you. I mean it from my heart. I am so grateful and thankful for you. You've lifted me up during all this corona thing, and I hope I've lifted you up, and we're staying together and being strong. And so I'm just grateful and I'm thankful. And I hope that this message will have touched you tonight and challenged you, because that's the goal. A real God, real data, real people about real life. We need it. You need it. I need it. Once again, thanks for joining me. Thanks for being faithful in your giving. I really am blessed and do appreciate it. We'll let you know over the next couple weeks at our gathering in Worcester. Hopefully it will be soon. And until then, keep the faith, everybody. I'll be on Mission ChurchNE Sunday morning. Don't miss it. Join me in church. We're going to have communion together this Sunday. Take the 30 minutes and enjoy me at 10:30 a.m. Get ready for communion. I'll be posting and letting you know and reminding you. MissionChurchNE.org, where you'll find PayPal or our address, and you can be a giver. And I thank you for being a giver. And God's love to you, everybody. This pastor loves you, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.